Hi, everyone, and welcome to your introductory and week one overview video for Education 438, Teaching Reading and Writing in the Content Area. I am going to be your instructor for the class. My name is Dr. Anne-Marie Garcia Shahan, and I am really thrilled to be teaching a class that I've taught before in very different iterations and glad to be back at it. So I'm hoping that this video will serve as a way for you to get to know me, and as a way for you to understand expectations for week one. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what I'm going to discuss in this video. I'm going to start with conversation about who I am. I'm going to ask you all to do an introductory assignment this week that will give me and your peers some indication of who you are. So I wanted to share a little bit about myself as well. I want to talk about what I'm passionate about, both inside and outside of academic spaces. I want to talk a little bit about the course, although I filmed another very detailed syllabus overview video that I think will give you a little bit more understanding of the goals and expectations of the class. Then I'm going to look at our week one objectives with you, go over the readings, videos, and assignments, and end with some very brief reminders. So that's going to be this video. I'm going to try to keep it hopefully shorter than the syllabus introduction video. So I want to get started with talking a little bit about who I am, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen for that so I can just sort of talk at you. I even made some notes about this because I always forget to talk about kind of what I do at UNM. So I'm going to start with that. I am an assistant professor of secondary literacy here at UNM, and I'm split between two departments. I'm here with TILP, Teacher Ed, but I also do a lot of teaching within language literacy and sociocultural studies. My areas of interest are the history of English education in the United States. I do a lot of work with young adult and multimodal literature in the secondary classroom, and I also do a lot of work with critical and practitioner-based and community-based research. So that's kind of where I'm at UNM. I also been a teacher in some way or form um, for so long. I have taught at Western Washington University as an assistant professor of young adult literature. But I have also taught in the high schools here in Albuquerque for years and years and years. I taught at Highland High School for a while, and most recently at Rio Grande High School, where I just finished off last year. So obviously, I'm very, very passionate about teaching. It's kind of who I am, first and foremost. So please know that if you ever have questions about teaching in the secondary schools, even now that I am, full-time at UNM, I do a lot of work with Rio Grande, a lot of work with Highland, and a lot of work with Cottonwood Classical Academy and El Dorado. So please reach out if you have questions. Um, Outside of academia, I do a ton of community-based art here in Albuquerque. I actually run my own dance company. I'm the artistic director and founder of an all-female, all-adult dance company called Breaking Even. And what we do is we put on queer feminist retellings of classical literature through dance. So that's super cool, right? We are currently working on a queer feminist retelling of Dracula, so really excited about that. Actually, I'm in my dance office right now just to kind of give you a little tour. You'll notice that a lot of my videos will take place in different locations. Sometimes I'll be at my dance office, sometimes I'll be at my house, and sometimes I'll be at my UNM office. So I want to keep you on your toes. Um, I also am a co-director and dancer in Alley Cat's Tap Company. I teach tap, jazz, stretch, and strength, and I choreograph for musical theater here. So my current project is Evil Dead, the musical. So if any of you love campy horror and want to see a musical around Halloween, let me know. So that's kind of my life outside of UNM, but in a lot of ways, my research interests have really been combining with my dance world in really cool ways. So that's sort of who I am, but I'm an open book. If you have questions, please reach out, ask. I always love to talk about my research, my dance projects, and teaching. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen just for a second. So we can go back to talking about this week. So here we go. I am going to pull up, you're going to see this unpublished Canvas sort of page in front of you, module page. And I'm going to open up the module that I have not posted yet, but will be posting Wednesday morning. So you're always going to see something that says week 1 or week 2 overview, view this first. And that's where I'm going to ask you to get started every week. And this, you'll notice it is still in kind of a skeleton version, but we'll always have our topics, our objectives, our videos, our assigned readings and viewings, our assignments, and then upcoming reading for the next week. So this week, our topics are, of course, the course introduction, and then introduction to the science of reading and structured literacy principles. So New Mexico Public Education Department has very heavily pushed the science of reading and structured literacy initiatives. It's something that it's an initiative I even saw really kind of trickling into the secondary school when I was teaching at Rio Grande last year. So we're going to talk about this week about what those are and and how we can use them to inform our teaching practice and how we can interrogate them as well. So let's talk about our objectives. Our objectives this week. I'm hoping that you will understand the goals, structure, and components of this course through watching the syllabus video that I have sort of posted and reading the syllabus as well. I realize that video is a little long. It's about 18 minutes, but if you're anything like me, I get really bored reading through syllabi, so I'd almost rather have someone talking me through it. So that's what I tried to do for you all. You'll also hopefully get to know me a little bit and one another through viewing this video and completing an introduction activity. You will explore the science of reading, SOAR, some literacy framework models and principles of structured literacy through engaging with, annotating, and taking notes on assigned videos and articles. Now, I'm not there with you to watch you take notes. It's not something that I'm going to be helicoptering, but I really encourage, even I have seen these videos and I've learned about these topics a lot. Even I was jotting down notes earlier this week as I was rewatching them. So I always encourage note taking in a way that best serves you. Students will critically assess the SOAR and structured literacy models of literacy instruction, considering both pros and cons, right? Any content that I give you this semester is something that I want you to consider as both useful and something that I want you to interrogate, right? I am not about consuming all texts passively, and I want you to engage very actively with all the different approaches to literacy instruction that we talk about this semester. You'll notice there's a little hole where the instructor videos, which I am currently obviously filming, will pop up. So your assigned reading this week is going to look a little bit different. You're going to see this in the week 1 module, but I'm going to pull it up here too. Give me a sec. Oh, let me go back to Canvas. Sorry, you all. Getting logged out. So it's going to take us to our homepage. I'm going to go back to modules. Like I said, not published yet, but don't worry. And then you're going to see under this week's module where it says Overview of the Science of Reading, Literacy Frameworks, and Structured Literacy. This isn't necessarily a traditional reading assignment. What I've done here is I have put together some content for you to read and also some videos for you to engage with. So you'll notice that there's 2 videos on the science of reading. Keep in mind that this second video is quite long. I've given you just a little bit of a clip to watch there. There's going to be 2 literacy frameworks I want you to engage with and think about. These are covered in the videos as well. And then my critical question here, always critical, is there anything not taken into account by the simple view of reading? You're going to move then into looking at Scarborough's reading rope, really interesting way of thinking about comprehension and skilled reading. And then, of course, there is a little bit of information towards the bottom on structured literacy and its 3 principles. And then some optional readings if you are just really invested and want to learn more. So I'm going to go back to this week's module, go back to our welcome. And then your only assignment this week is an introduction activity that's due this Sunday by 11:59 p.m. It's going to ask you just to share a little bit about yourself with your peers and with me, and then, of course, to answer a couple of questions on this week's readings and videos. So this is really helpful for me too, getting this introduction activity in and sort of engaging with it, because it's going to help me create pod groups for you all based on the content areas that you're going to be teaching. And then you'll notice when you look at this page under the module tomorrow that I'll have upcoming readings for week 2, just in case you want to get ahead. So I think I covered everything that I needed to cover. I'm going to stop sharing my screen in a sec, but just some reminders. Obviously, very excited for this semester together. And then don't forget to check out the syllabus video. Um, you'll notice that I actually upload my videos on YouTube, so you can absolutely ask questions or make comments on that video or this video, and I will try to respond to you. So it's another way for us to engage, another layer besides just our every other week Zoom meetings. So I'm going to stop that share now. And I think I covered everything you all. Like I said, if you have any questions, just reach out to me. It's kind of hard teaching an online class sometimes because I am very much a person who loves to be in a space with my students. That being said, I think we can create those kind of spaces online too. And one of the ways to do that is to just communicate as much as you can. So please reach out. Yeah, I think that's everything. I will just keep talking unless I stop myself. So I'm going to end this video now and looking forward to seeing you all next week on Zoom.